Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you're joining. Welcome to SecPod product webinar. My name is Kaushik, and I'm the Director of Product Engineering. Along with me, I have my colleague Tanga Prakash. He is the product architect. Hi, Tanga Prakash.
Hi, Kaushik.
Yeah, with the recent release of SanerNow 6.2.1, we have introduced several capabilities. And as part of this webinar, we will be talking about one of the new capability which we have introduced, which is remote access. So this would be the agenda for today. Um, as I mentioned, we will introduce the remote access feature, and we will go through some of the use cases and talk about the key features. And my colleague Tanga Prakash would take us through the demonstration of each of these capabilities, right? And we'll have some time for questions as well, right? So before we can get started on the remote access, just wanted to introduce the SanerNow Cyber Hygiene platform. Um, so at SecPod, we have built this framework. So this is a new dimension to cybersecurity, which evaluates an organization IT infrastructure from a weakness perspective and allowing it to strengthen its security posture, which is capable of defending against the cyber attacks, right? So as part of this framework, if you look at it, the first layer is the visualize. So for us to defend any cyber attack, first thing for us to make sure that we need to have visibility into the IT infrastructure and all of the elements, what is present in the IT infrastructure. And just not visibility, but it should be a continuous visibility, and it should provide you deeper understanding on the entire IT infrastructure, right? So that is what the visualize layer does. And the second layer is normalize, right? So this layer, what it does is it analyzes the IT infrastructure and it identifies any anomalies or outliers in your IT infrastructure. So it could be unwanted applications or unwanted services, ports running, users which are not expected to be, right? So all of this, it provides you the visibility, and it allows you to eliminate those unwanted infrastructure elements, right? So once we normalize, which is more of the posture anomaly offer which we do in Saner now, the next layer is on the detection. So it's just not about detecting vulnerabilities, but much beyond the vulnerability. So it identifies, of course, the software vulnerabilities, but also the misconfigurations and any patches which are available for those software vulnerabilities, um, any controls which are deviated, all those it's going to detect. And once we detect all those vulnerabilities or the deviations, the next logical step would be to prioritize them, right? So, prioritization is something which is going to help us identify in those thousands of vulnerabilities or deviations which are those critical, uh, and help you prioritize those. Once you prioritize, then depending on what those, um, for example, if those are vulnerabilities, uh, the Saner now helps you to remediate, right? So you can patch the vulnerabilities. If there are any misconfiguration, the remediate layer will allow you to fix those and apply any security controls which have been deviated, right? So again, after the remediation, of course, is to look at the report and see the overall um, security posture, right? And all of this has to be continuous, right? It's no longer like we cannot fall back to a monthly cycle or take much longer, because every day we see there are so many attacks happening, and every day there are several vulnerabilities getting discovered, right? So all of this has to be continuous, and uh, all this you will be able to see through a unified console. So all of these capabilities are built into our SanerNow hygiene platform. All right. So with this, excited to talk about the new capability which we have introduced, which is remote access. And SanerNow is supported on several platforms: Windows, Linux, Mac. Um, so similarly, remote access is also extended to all these platforms. So it's a multi-platform tool which you can use to troubleshoot, carry out the system maintenance and IT support. So I'll get into more details as part of the use cases. So at a very broad level, right, why do we need remote access, right? So these are the three broad use cases, I would say. Of course, there are many more, but falls into these three. The first one, of course, is the troubleshooting, where you need to remote access certain machines and do the diagnosis, identify what is the issue, troubleshoot them, and fix them, so that there's no downtime from a end user perspective. Or if it is server infrastructure, you need to troubleshoot and quickly fix some of the issues on the server system, right? So definitely troubleshooting is one of the biggest use case. And the second one is connect from anywhere. So what we mean by connect from anywhere is, irrespective of where you are, if you want to take control of the device, as long as you are able to reach our SaaS platform, which is sena.secpod.com, and the device is able to reach the sena.secpod.com, you'll be able to access your system irrespective of which network it is. All those limitations will not come into. So basically, the Saner now will act as a bridge between you accessing the endpoint and the endpoint, right? So because of that, uh, irrespective of where you are, you can always log in, access the devices, and provide any instant support required, right? So this definitely increases the productivity and reduces the downtime. And the third broad use case definitely is uh, specific maintenance or specific scripts which you want to deploy on a particular target machine, which is more involved, which are not automated per se, but where you want to log in and run few things, look at what is happening, and then take the next steps, kind of a thing. So this is also something where you want to identify what is happening, and then probably apply some patches or script, right, to improve the overall security posture, right? So at a very broad level, if you look at it, troubleshooting helps you to connect from anywhere, and also helps you to take certain measures on the remediation to improve the security posture on a specific machine where you want to have much more involved steps carrying out, right? So these are the broader use cases. So now, if you look at the key capabilities of the remote access, right? So there are several capabilities. Um, so one of them is secure unattended access. So there are many scenarios where a user has locked a particular laptop or a server, or those kind of situations. And as an IT administrator, you might have certain critical tasks to carry out, right? So what we mean by secure unattended access is, even though the user is not present and lock the workstation, administrator can still take the remote access of that particular machine, uh, and log in through his credentials, which will again provide a session based on the credentials what he or she has provided, and then work on certain things where the critical need was, and then logically close the session and come out, right? So you don't need a person to be logged in certain situation. You can still take control of that. The other one is again the multi-user session, which I just explained. So if user has logged in, need not that he has to log out for the admin to log in. Administrator can still log into his or her own user session and carry out certain operations. And not just the UI access, we also provide a remote shell capability where you can connect to a shell. Um, it could be Windows or Linux or Mac machine. You can connect to the remote shell and carry out certain scriptings, right? So that is supported. And also you can transfer the file. So sometimes what happens is during the troubleshooting, you want certain steps to be carried out, and you want to transfer certain files and then carry out certain things or copy certain log files. So all those are possible as part of the remote access. And location independent, like I mentioned, irrespective of where you are, as long as the endpoint is reachable to SanerSecPod and you are able to reach, you will be able to access the machines. And enhanced privacy protection. So this is something where when a user has logged in and an IT administrator wants to uh, take remote access, so there is a consent taken from the end user because the end user has already logged into the system. So a pop-up appears and clearly indicates that the administrator is trying to do the remote access, and only when the user acknowledges that it's okay to proceed, only then the remote access is provided. If not, remote access will be blocked. So this will ensure that if somebody is working on a particular system, there won't be a remote access done unnoticed, right? So that aspect is taken care. Enterprise grade security. So between the device and the remote access session where you're taking, so the entire channel is secured. So all the data transfer is taken care in terms of the secure channel, right? So highest security has been provided to ensure that all the data transfer and the communication are secure. And also in some cases where we need certain shortcuts, like for example Windows Control Alt Delete or some other shortcut keys, right? So for ease of use, we have also provided certain keyboard shortcuts, right? So all these capabilities are provided as part of the uh, remote access. So without taking much time, I would like to bring in my colleague Tanga Prakash, who will demonstrate each of these capabilities, and then we will take some questions as well. Over to you, Tanga Prakash.
Thank you, Coach. I will share my screen. Please confirm if
Sure.
the screen is
Yeah.
visible. Able to see the screen, Coach?
It is coming up. Yeah, can you go to a different tab? Yes, I'm able to see the screen.
Okay. Yeah. So this is our SanerNow console. So this new feature, remote access, is added as part of EM module. So let's go to EM module and look at the functionality. Okay, so I'm going into EM module. In the EM module, under actions section, a new icon is introduced, which is remote access. So under this, you will be able to, I mean, all the devices will be listed under this section where you'll be able to connect. So in this page, if you see in the right hand side, there is a connect section is there where there are two type of icons are there. One is nothing but a remote shell connection. If you want to connect to a system and just to take a shell connection and do some quick actions on that system, you can use this to connect to a remote shell. One more is remote screen, where let's say you want to do some UI based operations on the remote system, you can click on this, you'll get a UI access and you will be able to do it. Um, there are some scenarios, let's say that this is a Ubuntu server where UI is not there. In that case, only shell is allowed, where you can just connect to shell and use it. UI is not available for those systems because server class machines doesn't have the UI. So in those scenarios, we will just provide the shell access and you can connect. Okay. So without spending much time on this, we'll move on to and see the actual. uh, Okay, so I'll connect to one of my Windows device now. So let's start with the shell. Let's say that if someone is actually using the system and you don't want to disturb them and you just want to quickly go ahead and check something on the system, you can literally use the shell, right? So I'll just click on the shell icon. Currently it is initiating connection. So it will take few seconds to establish a connection between the system to here. So let me retry once again. So, one thing in this is multiple users are not allowed to use the connection. So if someone is already connected to that system, so it will not allow you to do it. So that is why you will get this message. Let me retry and try to connect to the system. Looks like the previous session is still active. Okay, we will try to connect to some other system in the meantime. I'll try the Ubuntu server. Yeah. So yeah, Ubuntu server connection is established. So this is nothing but a Ubuntu server where I have established. You can, I mean, you got the shell of the server where you can execute any command like normal SSH will do to that system. There won't be any difference between that and this. You can execute any file. I mean, you can execute any command. So yeah, this is one feature where we have connected to a Ubuntu server with a shell access where UI is not there. The right side, if you see, there is two options. One is disconnect or close. Like whatever actions you want to take, you can do it, and you can disconnect it. So we'll move on to the next one. Let's see that Windows session got exited, and can we retry on this? Let's see if the session is there. So I'll go ahead and try to connect to other systems. Yes. So this is one of the Mac machine we have connected via remote access. So we have got the screen. Um, so here also you will be able to perform any actions like using that actual desktop. You can run any command, do anything, or type in all the keyboard keys and everything will work. If you want to transfer any file, you can also transfer a file. Let's try transferring. I have one PDF document in my local downloads folder. I'll try to transfer it to that remote Mac machine. Okay. So transferring is as simple as just drag and drop. I'll just drag that file and drop it on that screen. As you can see on the right hand side, the file is being transferred to that system. The file is coming here. Yes. This file
Yeah.
transfer actually happens as a secure channel between the system and the browser what I'm using. Yeah, file got downloaded. Yes, this is the report we try to transfer from my laptop to that system. Same way, if you want to take any file from that system to your laptop, there is an option provided. In the right hand side, in the top right hand side, the S icon will be there whenever this remote connection is alive. So you can click on that S icon. There is a share file option will be there. Click on the share file option. You will be presented with a pop-up to choose any file to be downloaded. So I have some files here. So I'll choose one of the file from this. And I'm going to click on this upload button. Yeah. Now the file is being transferred from that remote Mac machine to um, my laptop. It is getting downloaded. Um, this speed and everything is based on the local network or wherever the system is there. It depends on the network speed. If we have a fastest network, it will download quickly. It will not take much time. Yes, file is almost going to get downloaded. Yes, I got the file in my downloads directly. It is as simple as that. You can share a file between both the systems, yeah, as well as you can use your laptop. I mean, the remote machines, like you are sitting on that laptop. Okay, so now if end user also has a control, if let's say the current user doesn't want to um, have this remote connection, if he wants to terminate it, there is a terminate button provided in that app itself. They can click on the terminate and the remote connection will get terminated in few seconds. Yes. So okay. So now let's try to connect to the Windows machine. Okay. Now I'll try to use remote screen for the Windows machine. Let's see how the remote connection happens to a Windows. Yes, connection established. So here there are two main thing. What you see is the connection automatically got connected without asking a user permission. Right? Because an auto connect is automatically enabled for the system, and that is the reason I'm able to connect to the system. Let's say that if the user is not available or user is not there, and let's say it is weekend, you want to do some patching on the system, the user is not available. That time, usually the system will be in disconnect. I mean, log the state. Okay. What we will do is we will log the screen and we will try to connect. In that scenario, we'll see what happens. Okay. Yes. Now the end user is not currently logged in, so you'll be presented with the log screen. So in this scenario, you can just enter. I mean, if you know the credentials of the system, you can just enter the credentials and you'll be able to log into the system. It is simple as that. So most of the case, why we need the remote access by the end user is, let's say that if end user want to install some applications or do some patching activity, the end user might not have the full privilege. So end user might request the IT admin to do it. So that time you might need to enter your credentials, right? So right now I have an installer here, which I'm going to install it, where it will show this is a secure pop-up. It will show and ask the details. If you have credentials, it will ask you the credentials which you can enter and proceed. If not, you can go ahead and click yes. So this is one of the use case during, I mean, will be used by the IT admin mostly. Yes. Apart from that, let's say if you want to initiate Control Alt Delete from the screen, there is a in the right hand side there is a one section special keys is given. Most of the keyboard keys will work except these few keys are special keys which browser itself does not allow to send. So we have provided it here. Let's say if you click that Control Alt Delete, you'll be shown with this lock screen with multiple options. Other key combination also you can use it again, because whenever you click on that start, your laptop will take control. So that is one case. Let's say if you, yeah, all these keys can be used in that way. Sharing file and other things is same like what you see in Mac. Here also you can use either this share button to share a file from here to there, where I can just click and it will go. If not, I can drag and drop. Simple as that. Okay. So the upload is going on. It will be in the downloads folder. That's fine. Got downloaded. Okay. So one of the other feature, mainly system admin or the support people if need, is the user who always logged in might not have the full privilege. So during that time, user might want to switch to different user, and I mean they might want to go to a admin user to do some operations, and come back to this user. So in that case, what you can do right now, the current user is, let's say, ITSM. You can even log the screen. You can go, instead of logging into ITSM, I'm going to log into the other user. I have one more user here. So whenever the user switch happens, the session of the user will change. So that time we will be reconnecting to that session. So I logged in as a TP user. Initially I was in ITSM. Now I logged into the new user. So yeah, this way you can switch the user between multiple. I mean, when you have multiple users in the system, you can switch between the users and perform the actions. Sometime you might want to run some, like let's say that you want to run some special commands as an admin mode in the current user itself, right? You can click on a run as administrator. You will be presented with that admin UAC pop-up. You click yes and perform the actions. Okay. So it is not only one connection, you can simultaneously connect multiple systems at a time. Let's try connecting to one of the Ubuntu system I have. It's a desktop machine. The server one we tried shell. Now we'll try the desktop machines. Okay, while the connection is establishing, I will tell you one more feature. Okay. So there will be S icon will be there whenever a connection is established. So there are two things here. One is user has the control to terminate, which we saw in the Mac case. So apart from that, there are few options when you do right click on that. One is how I'm able to connect to the system is there is an auto connect option is enabled, which allows the user to connect to any session without getting privilege of yes or no from that user. And the second one is share file option, which we will be able to share this local system file to other users. And the third one is stop connection. So if user doesn't want to give the auto connect to the admin and he wants to control it, then they can disable this connection whenever they want. This can be enabled anytime. So whenever this is disabled, that means that user will be presented with an option to accept or reject based on that. If they accept it, the connection will get established. If not, we will not be able to establish the connection. Okay, so the Linux system connection got established. We are presented with the log screen. So now I will enter my credentials and log into this. Yes. Which is similar like what we did in the Windows and Mac case. You can do all the actions here. You can run any commands, or you can use this lap. I mean, as you use the laptop, all the things are possible here. You can share the file, or you can execute any special keys if you want to do. All these are possible here also. Yes, I think I mostly covered all the features. If there is a system which is offline and currently not ready to, I mean, not available for connection, you will see this red color. And if there is a connection already established, you might see a tick mark which says session is active. But but apart from that, any system which is alive and it is in green color, you will be able to connect, and you will have multiple sessions like this. It depends on the browser's capacity to have how many numbers of sessions it can hold. So there is not much restriction. You can have concurrent sessions on systems and use multiple systems at a time directly. Yeah, I think that's all from my side, question.
All right. Thank you so much, TP, for taking us through all the key capabilities of remote access. Um, so let's see if we have any questions. Okay, I see two questions. While we take those two questions, if any other questions are there, please feel free to type in the chat and we will answer them. The first question is on the platform support. Yeah, so remote access is supported on Windows, various versions of Windows, and all the major Linux flavors, including Debian, RPM, right? All those we support, and also on the Mac, right? So basically, it's a cross-platform feature support. The second question, probably TP, you can take. If the user itself is not logged in and there is no active sessions, can we still do the remote access?
Yes, we will be able to connect to the system. Like I showed you on Windows case, you will be presented with the log screen, either in Ubuntu or Windows or Mac, all the cases. You'll be presented with the lock screen, and you should be able to unlock it by entering the password and log into a session, or you can create a session.
All right. So these were the two questions which were asked. We'll just give another minute to see if there are any more questions. In the meanwhile, if you're an existing user, I'm sure this capability as part of the SanerNow platform will help accomplish the use cases which we talked about in terms of the troubleshooting or some kind of a involved patching or to connect and remote access from any other location. If you're new or looking at signing up, so we have a 30-day trial period. You can sign up and get access to this particular product, including the remote access. If you have any questions, you can reach out to info@secpod.com, and we'll be more than happy to uh, get back. Well, there are no other questions. Anything else, Tanga Prakash, you wanted to talk?
Nothing from us.
All right. Thank you so much. We will be concluding the webinar for today. If you have any questions, please send us to info@secpod.com, and we will get back to you on that. Hope this was informative and as well as useful. Thank you all for joining, and have a have a good rest of the day. Bye bye, everyone.